Okay. How do you think, is there a global competition between USA and European Union for the control of financial resources in the world?
Well, there is some, yeah. They have competing companies. I think that's true.
And how do you think maybe USA is interested to finance weak Europe because it is a chance for USA, maybe, to take the money from European market?
No, I don't think so. I think, the decisions made in the U.S. are mostly political. And right now, the Obama administration is much more worried about the crisis in Europe because it could and will affect the U.S. economy to some degree. And he wants to get reelected. That's the main goal of the president of the United States, is to be reelected next year. And so he wants the European economy to recover. And as I mentioned in there, that's why he sent his Treasury Secretary uninvited to the meeting to the summit meeting here to tell them that they should do more to revive the European economy sooner. So I think that's their main concern right now. It's politics.
Mm-hmm. And how do you think, can USA help and maybe will give money for the European Fund of Stability?
With the U.S., that's going to be difficult for them because they have a Republican majority in the House of Representatives that won't want to do that. So it's going to be, I would say it's not that likely right now. Well, I shouldn't say that. I mean, it would be a struggle. They might still be able to get it. It's hard to say.
Mm-hmm. And last question. Which economic is more stronger, USA or European Union? Total.
Right now? Well, are you counting the European Union, the whole European Union, or just the Eurozone?
As the Eurozone and as the European Union.
Yeah, they're pretty similar right now, actually, in terms of their growth right now. I think that the European economy is weaker right now because of the financial crisis. In other words, the financial crisis itself could push the European economy into a recession, whereas the United States doesn't have anything quite that bad right now in terms of its financial sphere. And the U.S. economy is growing. They're growing at a similar pace if you take out population growth. If you look at per capita GDP, it's fairly similar. They're both growing slowly. They have similar rates of unemployment. It's 10.2 for the European Union, and it's 9.1 for the U.S. So they're similar in terms of their overall growth and unemployment. But the European economy is slowing faster right now, and it is more vulnerable right now than the U.S. economy. Much more, I would say. Like, I would say the probability of a recession in Europe is considerably higher than in the United States right now.
Thank you very much.
Sure.
If we stick with the Eurozone, I was going to ask you about the role of central bank that it can play. Some people say, the European Central Bank is not exactly the Federal Reserve of the United States. It can't really do the same thing. Do you think that's true?
No. I don't think so. First of all, they have the same control over monetary policy that the U.S. Central Bank does. So they can lower interest rates, which they haven't done near the degree of the United States. There's no legitimate reason for that.
Right.
When you have 10% unemployment. They should have lowered it to zero, just like we did. Why not?
Right.
But they can't print the money, Europeans.
They can print money also.
Do they?
Uh,
In the amounts they should need.
no, they don't, but they could. There's no reason they couldn't do that. I mean, first of all, they've broken all the rules already in terms of what they're not supposed to do, like buying bonds. They find ways to get around everything. So I don't think they're really constrained more than the Federal Reserve. They could, in fact, and that's one of the things they're ultimately going to have to do, I think, to resolve this crisis. They're going to have to create money the way the Fed has. It's possible to be able to get away with another way of doing it. Like there are these plans to leverage the money of the European Financial Stability Facility by borrowing and providing loan guarantees. There are some other mechanisms. But that is the problem, is that they are much more conservative than the U.S. Federal Reserve, which is a conservative institution.
Right. But I like.
That's why I use the label extreme for the European Central Bank. I think it's extreme.
I like what you said about the fact that the EU at first says, we're not going to do this, we're not going to help Greece in a way, we're not going to help them to get rid of some of the debt, and eventually they still do that, right? But
that's what they've been doing all along.
Exactly. I mean, but what do you think explains this? Why don't they do this from the very beginning? Because
yes,
the
that's
public
what I
is
was
not
trying
happy
to
either.
explain in there. I would say there are, this is a sociological question you're asking. Like, why are they doing this? And I would say two reasons. One is they have a very conservative right-wing ideology around policy, monetary policy. And part of that ideology is that you have to punish countries like Greece that they consider to be bad and have borrowed too much. And second is they acting in the interests of creditors as a class, as a group.
Right.
They want to squeeze as much as they can. Like this last crisis was caused because of Italy. What they did to Italy.
Right.
And it was in July or August where they said, we're not going to buy Italian bonds right now, at a time when the interest rates were rising over 6%.
And they did just a month later or so.
And then they did it. They did it days after they said they weren't going to do it because of the market reaction. So they were it was very clear. The reason they made that statement, which caused the financial crisis, is because they wanted to pressure the Italian parliament to adopt the austerity measures that they wanted.
Right. And now, given all this volatility in the Eurozone and stuff, do you think it's still, perhaps leaving, or perhaps I don't want to ask that, actually, let's say there are no problems in the Eurozone, but would it be in Latvia's benefit eventually to join the Eurozone under such conditions as we're going now? I
would not, and what I said before was that the Eurozone is being very badly managed right now. They've managed it so badly that they have caused a major financial crisis and the possibility of the second recession in Europe in less than 3 years. And they've also, slowed growth in the whole world economy. I would not want to join, especially as a country that's not going to have any influence. It's not like Germany.
Right.
They're not going to have any influence over that policy. I would not want to join an arrangement that was that badly managed.
But then hypothetically,
I think they would want to wait for new management.
Right, so you're basically saying if there were hypothetically a better management, then you would say we still a considerable thing to
Well,
consider?
then it would be still debatable.
Yeah.
Because, I didn't address this question today, but many economists had a lot of doubts about the euro from the beginning because, there are questions from an economic point of view of whether the conditions for a monetary union are really met, given the big differences in the levels of productivity and the growth of productivity in the different countries. It may be too difficult. Go ahead. You have something?
Yeah, I have my time now, I think.